Hi everyone, Shane R. Monroe here. I'm back to talk more about mice and the new firmware upgrade 1.1.0. I think I've got a pretty good idea what's going on. You can see that I've been pulling every mouse I can find. I went to like 6 Goodwills. I bought every possible mouse I could lay my hands on. I tried the Logitech K400, which was mentioned by one of my viewers, and every one of them experiences the same sort of situation. So let me explain what I think is going on and how you can minimize the bad part of this situation. So, well, everything that you're going to find today is an optical mouse. Now, these optical mice are high DPI. The Commodore 64 is not high DPI. My guess is that the mouse runs on a 255 to minus 255 spectrum. That means when you're moving up and down or back and forth, you have a range of 512 pixels to move. If this mouse is 1200 DPI, well, you can only imagine what that might represent in terms of how much you move. You know what I'm saying? So people reported this guy, this K400, as being working perfectly. And it kind of makes sense why they would think so. First of all, it does not work perfectly. I already tested it. Any sort of fast motion or any sort of motion to the outer edges will cause the same problem we're going to see here in a minute. So this isn't the solution. This doesn't work any better than this does. This DPI is just a little bit more controlled. So let's say, I don't know, does it say on here what DPI this thing is? It does not. I've got so many of them and they all behave exactly the same way. So let's even if it's 1200 DPI, there's a lot of room to look. Now, if you watched Perry Fractic's video showing the mouse working, you will notice he barely moved the mouse at all in the video. That pretty much ties together what I'm saying here. An inch maybe represents 512 pixels, which would be from 256 to minus 256 and everything in between. So that means these mice work as long as you don't move them a lot. Let's check this out together. By the way, you'll notice that you can't hot swap mice in the middle of doing this Arkanoid test. So you'll have to shut it all down and bring it back up, which actually kind of sucks, to be honest with you. That makes testing, see, look at that. I mean, you swap mice in the middle of things, bad things happen. So let's start over. Okay, so I'm sorry, I had to reload Arkanoid again and again and again. So let's take a look at how this mouse behaves with this newfound knowledge. Now, there are mice out there, optical mice, that do have DPI control. You may be able to get a better experience by reducing the amount of DPI, and I'm going to show you how that works in just a minute. Audio here, there we go. So let's take a look. So you can see automatically that pretty much any sort of wide motion causes the mouse to completely freak out. I think it's because you're moving past one of the 255 to negative 255 axis. Notice if I don't move far, I have control. And again, just like you saw in Perry Fractic's video, it's very short. What is that, an inch and a half? Maybe 2 inches. I should break, you know what I've got? I only got something down here. Let me see. All right, let's find out. Oh, my cat's been chewing the crap out of this. So you guys can decide for yourself. Dang it, hold that up there. How far can I, well, that didn't help, did it? Let's put it up here. All right, let's see how far I can actually move, roughly. So it's, yeah, about an inch and a half, maybe, something like that. Okay. So it's an inch and a half you can move with this optical mouse and still maintain control. About an inch and a half. That sounds right. Now you're sitting there thinking, okay, but Shane, it works. So what's your problem? Well, if you're trying to look what happens. Even if you move within the inch and a half. All right. So let's see what happens if you move fast, even staying within the inch. It does not, you cannot move fast. So here's what we're really talking about. You can only move it about an inch and a half. You can only move at a very slow speed. So any sort of action gaming, forget about it. What about Geos? What about some sort of a mouse pointing program? Yes, you'll probably be okay understanding the limitations of how far you can move and how fast you can move. Now, some of these mice that I have over here just didn't behave at all, right? So what they said in the what's new, the changelog, it's true, some of them aren't going to work right, but even the ones that do work right, you're strapped down with these limitations in mind. And that's not that different, by the way, than what this adapter was. This adapter seemed to have reduced the DPI, so you had to move more to get what you needed, but at least it sort of brought it down to that 255 spectrum, right? Now, I'm going to tell you the best solution I found so far. Leave a comment down below if you've got something better. First off, was this a great solution? It actually worked better than the mice. I'll tell you that right now. There's no DPI selection on here. This guy, this is one of my favorite pointing devices of all time. This is the EM02. EM01 would work the same way. It has an independent DPI, and look at this. It's got a trackball. Why does the trackball make a difference, right? Your trackball is a force limitation of how far you can travel without doing this, right? With this, if you're a regular mouse user all the time, you're used to moving your cursor around like this. It's going to be hard for you to get discipline. The trackball forces you into some discipline, right? And I'm going to show you that in just a minute. But again, as you know, if I unplug the mouse and plug a new one in, well, I have to reset the machine. Oh, there we go. I can actually get through here. This one. Let me reboot. So yeah, this actually, by the way, this is the pointing device I use as a daily driver. I have reviews of the EM01 if you want to go see them. This is my favorite device of all time. I don't play games. I use a controller, so I can use a trackball. Why do I like a trackball while we're waiting for this to load? A mouse involves some carpals down here, right? As you're moving it around. This is why people that are like IT professionals that have been doing it for 20 years, they've almost all had some sort of a carpal tunnel syndrome or a surgery, right? That's what happens. I've always used a trackball of some sort. Your arm never moves, right? You're laying your carpals down there. It's actually angled, so your hand's not in an oddball position, right? And this is all you do all day long. Move, click, click, move, 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 click, click, move, move, move. Nothing else is happening. Nothing else is moving. If you can swing it, if you can pull it off, I'm a huge fan of these types of trackball pointing devices. I know some people like the ball on top, but look at how my arm is. The ball on top means you're having to hold your arm like this, not in a nice natural. I think this is what, 25 degrees, whatever. Anyway, I'm not trying to make this a sales pitch for the ProtoArc. I'm trying to kill time while I'm letting this damn thing load again. But yeah, so that's why you might want to be thinking about using one of these anyway. As a bonus, it also happens to help out here. So let's take a look. Now I've got, I think, 4 DPI settings on this one. I'd have to go back and look. But if you turn it down to the lowest, that means you get less DPI per motion, which is what we want. We would actually like 512 DPI if we could handle it, right? I think the lowest this one goes to is maybe 600 DPI, which isn't too bad, really. So this is this is my daily driver DPI. Let me change it down. Nope. Slower. Nope. Well, there we go. Now I'm at the lowest. I think this is the lowest DPI possible. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, see, now this is actually just about right. This keeps me in control. See how this works? Now you still can't go fast. That's not fixed. That's a problem with the implementation or a limitation of the implementation. But if you're talking about a comfortable use of a controller, of a mouse or a pointing device, the trackball at an exceptionally low DPI, that's what you're looking for as a solution. Now, I have a USB ball-driven mechanical mouse on its way from eBay. When that comes in, I'm going to give this another go and see if there's some magic about that age that maybe will make the mouse experience as good as maybe the trackball experience. Listen, I hope this helped out. Share your stories. People are looking, people are watching, they want to know what you're using. That's where this guy came from, is a comment like you from one of you folks. So please leave that comment down below. And I'm going to keep at this. And if I find the perfect solution, I'll let you know. I'm Shane R. Monroe. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. We'll see you next time.